We're on.
We're on?
We are.
I was going to start off kind of like the And people are like, what? What the hell's going on?
No mouth beatboxing to open up this one?
It's going to be like a Stone Temple Pilots deep cut. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast. I'm Kevin. This is Brandon. Here to cause all kinds of mayhem and hell and discontent. Something going on in Washington today? I was kind of out of touch.
I think Tim Hortons is finally making the jump south. And they're starting in D.C., I think that's
I didn't think that I could get more angry about politics after November 8th than I was today, because everybody in this country is either losing their damn mind and just abject just disappointment, or people that are just elated.
Yeah, man. I mean, first Cowboys lose, and now Donald Trump's president. What's next?
And you got people like me is like, huh? Yeah, whatever.
I'm radically indifferent to all of it.
We like to get together once a week, talk about Mead, Metal, and MMA, and we try to keep it on track sometimes. Other times we don't, and sometimes it's okay to get a little off track. We had the interesting little discussion before we even started anything, talking about oxygen.
Breathing and all.
Yeah, you know the shit we pull in our lungs. The interesting thing is because over in Japan they have these what they basically call like oxygen lounges, and it's weird because it's more like a morgue. And they have like these big, like body length drawers that like people go into, like businessmen. They go in their lunch hour, and they kind of sack out and they like wheel them in, and then they crank on the oxygen and everything else, and then they pull them out like an hour later, and they're all refreshed and everything else. I wasn't saying I thought it was full of shit, but I was saying that I thought it was a bit dubious. I was kind of questioning the validity of that, and then Brandon set me straight.
Well, even like in Vegas. Not only do they pump that shit in the casino floor, I mean, they have to. You don't stay awake for a day and a half when a third of that is driving, and the other third you spend swilling free beer. And not be like, oh, fuck, I could go 12 more hours. Well, I'm bed? Who needs bed? There are no windows, no clocks. Who gives a shit? I mean, they even have oxygen bars in Vegas.
Yeah.
They look like something out of Dark City. It's weird.
I don't know. I'm going to have to check it out. That's all there is to it. I'm just going to have to try to get that experiment done on a personal level. So, all right, let's get to the topics of the week. Mead. We've got batches going. We've got or no, we don't have batches going. We got batches that are done. We're getting ready to label them. we're a small operation, folks. So kind of cut us a little slack. We kind of do things a step at a time. If we're really excited about something and we get really pumped up and want to get something out to people, yeah, we can turn things around in about 45 to 60 days.
Sure.
If we've got inventory and things are looking good on that end of it, there's not a big rush. Yeah, we'll take our time. We'll drag our feet a little bit. So we've got some new label stock coming in. We'll get the Batch 1 and Troublemaker all prettied up and raring to go, and then we'll get it in your hands for you folks out there that have been good donators to us, and we appreciate that. And
we got the orange and vanilla going, test batch.
That one is a test batch, which actually, frankly, if I was thinking ahead, I should have probably sanitized our equipment. We could have racked it tonight, and then we could have been testing it tomorrow. Right. I mean, it'll come along because, frankly, it was a crystal clear batch. Then we'd added the orange peel, and then that's when there's a lot of trash.
But the color of it is amazing right now.
Yeah. Well, thanks to our friends out of northern Panhandle of Texas, where we'd source the honey on that. I don't know if it would be economically viable for us to source a full 15 pounds for a batch. Maybe. I mean, it would make sense because really, if we use a different honey than what we've used on that, then it's not exactly a valid
experiment. If they had
experiment.
some side of some sort of restaurant, bulk buy option.
Maybe. Because otherwise, it's like $7.50 for like a pound and a half.
Yeah.
Right? So we would need 15 pounds. I mean, start doing the math, and that starts pricing us out of the ability to be able to make that batch.
Yeah. And, you make a $50 bottle of mead. Say, oh, where's the honey from? Panhandle, Texas.
about
80
miles up the road.
The honey capital of the world, motherfucker.
So that's where we're at with that. Now, we are doing a field trip tomorrow, but not up to the northern Panhandle. We're running over to Lubbock tomorrow. We're going to check out a place, and I've been wanting to go there and I'd promised the guy that we'd go in some shape or form. Hopefully it's me and Brandon, but if it's just me, whatever, so be it.
We'll get it done regardless. It needs to get done.
The Yellow House Brew Works, and it's an interesting story about that, because if you go and Google up their website, you're going to find it and you go, man, the last time this thing's been updated was like early 2016, late 2015. Are they even still in business? The answer to that question is yes.
That's a poor internet presence right there.
No, the guy told me, so this company out of Washington built them a website and then promptly locked them out and then went out of business.
Oh, shit.
So they've got this really good-looking website that they can't access or update in any way, shape, or form.
Wow. That sucks.
To the buyer, beware, I guess, in all things in life. And
do everything in-house. You ain't got to worry about it.
Especially on websites and things like that. So, yeah, don't ever get locked out. Make sure you've always got the key to have your access as the owner to those sites. I mean, that's seems kind of
seems like
kind of
day one shit.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, but hey, if that's not your thing, doing any kind of I mean, obviously you can do things. You don't have to code everything by HTML or DHTML or anything else. You don't have to know anything about coding these days. You can go to different websites and find those that'll set them up for you.
Yeah, it's all drag and drop.
And the thing is, though, is that, you have these boutique companies like, hey, we know you have this store and you're just selling homebrew supplies, so go through us because that's what we do best. Well, and then they kick you out and go out of business.
Yeah, that's
pretty shitty.
Well, that's kind of what happened with our website. Well, they didn't go out of business. They're just like, no, we're not doing the shit free anymore.
Right.
They're like, oh, you want it back? Well, give us a little cash. We'll talk about it.
And by the way, and so for those of you that are thinking, oh, let's check out the website. Well, it's not a thing yet.
Yeah, it used to be. But,
it will be. We will, and we're going to do a domain name and everything else. We're going to have all that. So don't go web sitting on us because we're not going to go with something that you think we're going to do anyway. It's going to be something completely different. We're going to go with that. We're going to get ourselves all nice and legal by the state of New Mexico's standards or whatever that may be. All in due time.
Indeed.
All right, that's the Mead update for this week. We got anything going on for metal?
Garth Brooks was playing in Lubbock.
You know what?
1st.
Here's the thing. It has zero to do with metal, but talk about a bunch of people losing their goddamn minds.
I know.
Yeah, Garth Brooks is playing like on April 1st, which then the first immediate thing is on my day job where people ask me, is this a joke? Because the old fat boy from Oklahoma retired a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, he had a residency in Vegas as well.
Well, but that's the whole thing. He's been the hardest working retiree ever. So
he's a Terry Funk of the music industry.
But I mean, so they're cranking tickets, $75 a pop. It's going to sell out day of.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, it's basically wherever you're in line, that's the seat you're going to get.
Right.
So you could get floor seats for $70 to a Garth Brooks concert. Not bad.
Maybe.
If you're one of them campers, yeah, and there's a lot of them tickets are already going to be sold by the time they go to the public.
Supposedly, like the ticket outlets that jump in and buy 100 here and 100 there are locked out. Apparently,
oh, really?
Apparently, well, they're going through access.com. So.
Oh, the
Access TV.
Yeah, those folks.
Which I think did Mark Cuban own that? I think.
You
know, but I mean, all well and good. But I mean, hey, more power to him. The thing will sell out, but it's going to sell out the right way. I think by numbers of 8. That's kind of it.
Sure.
But yeah, shocking though. That's
well, you had Paul
floating
McCartney
everybody.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Now you got Garth.
I'd rather see Paul McCartney than Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Well, funny thing is, it's cheaper to go see Garth Brooks. You got to pay some money if you want a Beatle.
Really? What were your tickets?
Oh God, with service charges and everything, $100, and it was
that's not terrible.
Upper bowl.
Yeah,
upper bowl.
Did you have to bring your binoculars with you?
No, thankfully, every musical act these days that can fit at least 12,000 people in a certain spot have huge video screens and pomp and circumstance.
And you could make that argument that with venues, there's not a bad seat in the house. That's what they like to say. Well.
Unless you're behind a concrete fucking pillar.
Yeah.
At the United Supermarket.
It's United Supermarkets Arena now, yeah.
Such a terrible fucking name.
Yeah, but I don't know. Wow, so you were like way up there like on the concourse almost now.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Upper bowl.
Well, see, and we were wanting to go to that UFC event in Denver next week. And again, if it's a venue where there's a basketball court, I mean, the seating is going to be built perfectly for UFC events,
right,
and perfectly for music events, things like that.
Yeah, anything you do in the round, you'll be fine.
You know, and I don't know how long that United has been around the arena. I don't know.
Metallica played there in 2004.
Well,
kind of when it was brand fucking new.
Was it?
Yeah.
God, it's not even that old then.
No.
There should not be concrete pillars to contend with.
That and banners. It's if you're on the upper level, it's a bit of a task.
Man, I don't know, but yeah, no. That's so everybody like in eastern New Mexico, the entire Panhandle, western Oklahoma, all the way to liberal Kansas are losing their damn minds because Garth Brooks is playing Lubbock.
I'm hoping that asshole is playing. This just like, no, I'm just playing Lubbock. That's it. Just brings the whole goddamn world.
He's not doing that many dates. It's kind of weird that Lubbock's one of them, and it's been over 20 years. So,
well, this is a hell of a metal talk, isn't it? Well, Metallica was mentioned.
Like Chris Gaines.
Covered our. Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about Chris Gaines, a.k.a. his greatest idea ever.
No, but yeah, it probably falls flat for the metal particular part of the segment. But shit, it's big for our area, if you care, and I really don't. Do we have anything going on metal-wise? I mean, I'll tell people. I don't know that I jump on with this. I have it load on Pandora constantly, and that's Windhand.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have. I'm trying to turn you on to those guys. Check it out. They are doom metal. They do have. They tend to not be quite as monotone as a lot of doom metal stuff. I love Pelican, but I will admit that a lot of their stuff is pretty droning.
Yeah, you got to be in a certain mood for Pelican.
Windhand, especially on their track Windbind, is they're not. They do classify as doom metal, but man, they're a little more than that. So I don't know. Check that out. I don't know that I really gave them a pump before here.
Stumbled across that band Glow Sun last week too.
Their instrumental stuff is outstanding.
Absolutely, singing's a little weird, but it's doom metal, so that's the gamble you run.
Yeah, there's a weird mixed bag when you start digging around through a lot of doom metal acts. Doom metal, stoner metal. I mean, it's all kind of what is the difference between the two, would you say?
Stoner metal is far more, well, I'd like to think it's probably like about 6 minutes longer on average, music-wise. There's a
They tend to hit a riff that they kind of stay with for a while before they depart, right?
Tinker with it for about 5 minutes, switch it up.
And not a lot of minor chords involved.
Not a lot of vocals either, from what I've heard.
I don't know. That's maybe that's your homework for the week, folks. Check that out. Do yourself a quick little YouTube search for doom metal.
And doom metal, 9 times out of 10, the singer's going to sound like Ozzy Osbourne, circa 1972.
One of the instrumental tracks that which one was it? It was Glow Sun.
Glow Sun, yeah.
Put out, and both Brandon and I were waiting around for an Ozzy Osbourne kick because it was perfect. It was like, here it comes. Oh, it's not. It's an instrumental.
Yeah, and then I think like 3 songs later, vocals kicked up, and they were actually kind of like growly, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
It's kind of weird.
We were kind of denied our Ozzy approach that night.
That's all right. I went and listened to The Sword and got it back.
Hell, that's probably good enough for Mead and Metal. Let's get to MMA. There's a lot of fun things going on there.
Been a very busy 2017 so far.
Let's get into UFC first. We have the fight night from Denver coming up a week from tomorrow. That's the Shevchenko fight. And God, what's the other chick's
Pena?
name? Yeah, Juliana Pena. That one's going to be okay, but why isn't the Cerrone Masvidal fight at the very top of that? I mean, it's in Denver.
This might be the new regime trying to build up some new female stars in the wake of Ronda Rousey's destruction.
You know, I mean, I can appreciate that to some degree, but
it's not a main event.
No, it's not. And I mean, it's a free fight. It's on Fox Sports 1, which I want to go on record saying that didn't really play into my ideas of not going and attending that in person. Frankly, I didn't want to drop $600 because if we're going to be on the floor, that's what I was going to run for me and you and our business partner Brett.
Yeah, it's a pretty tall order for
1 month after Christmas. You damn right it is.
1 month after Christmas in Vegas, just like, oh man, I'm on ramen still.
So we're going to be watching that one on TV. Even more important though, Bellator. You heard me right. Bellator is coming up tomorrow night.
Bellator.
Bellator, what is it, like 170 or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, who cares on the number when it comes to Bellator? We rarely will talk about them, but boy, there's a really interesting one brewing for tomorrow. You got Tito Ortiz, UFC Hall of Famer, legend, the Huntington Beach bad boy, been around for basically. I've been watching MMA longer than he's been around, but that's just because of the fact that I mistakenly bought the very first ever UFC fight when I was stationed out in California back in 1993.
Good mistake.
But he's been around longer than just about anybody. I mean, his fights against Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, two of them, both of them. The first one was a great fight. Second one, not so much.
Yeah, well, the latter fights after the Ultimate Fighter, when they were both coaches and had their big revenge fight.
Right.
After that, really, that should have been Ken Shamrock's like, I'm done.
Should have been.
Y'all have a great day.
The guy's legacy would have been secured.
And now it's really just sad.
So Bellator 170's fighting Chael Sonnen. And Chael's got his own little thing going on anyway, right? Doesn't he have like a weird little grappling?
Yeah, the grappling tournament that actually John Jones is going to be grappling Luke Rockhold at in a little while.
Which is all well and good, but it's still, that's not MMA necessarily. I mean, it's fine. It'll appeal to a certain crowd.
Right.
I'm not going to knock it. But it is interesting, though, that Chael Sonnen is going to be fighting Tito Ortiz tomorrow night, Bellator 170. Chael Sonnen, people used to just excoriate this guy. It's like, why doesn't he shut up and just fight? Well, because really one of his strengths was the ability to get in somebody's head.
Yeah. First real good shit talker in MMA.
You can make the argument.
Everybody else was just really, really scary.
Yeah. But now the golden boy of the UFC, Conor McGregor, you can't tell me that Chael Sonnen didn't set the stage for that guy to be able to come in and up the ante.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Chael Sonnen is the Ronda Rousey of shit talking in MMA. Showing that, hey, if you have half of a personality, it's going to get you a lot farther than just being a decent fighter. Well,
it's still a little tough to get me fired up to watch a Bellator fight, really. But this one does it. The pre-fight press conference yesterday, on January 19th. So they're sitting around doing a press conference. UFC owns press conferences.
Absolutely.
Bellator is not worth watching generally, but yesterday apparently was, because Chael brings up Tito Ortiz's ex-wife, Jenna Jameson. The direct quote from Chael was, Tito always says I'm using my mouth to get my opportunities. The only person I know that made money using their mouth is his ex-wife, which might cross a line with some folks. And Ortiz visibly angered then, but he played it off afterwards, saying really that he fights by emotion and all this other stuff. But I mean, look, face facts is that Chael Sonnen got in a shot, and there wasn't a whole lot that Tito could really do about it except just suck it up.
No, because Tito's one of those guys, just like Chuck Liddell, that would just say, well, I'm just going to go in there and beat shit out of you. That's what I'm going to do. Sometimes he would, sometimes he wouldn't. Chael, I mean, it's been such a long fucking time. His run in the UFC, after he lost to Silva in that fight, that if it had gone the distance, Chael Sonnen would have won.
Oh, absolutely. No, there's no doubt.
Beat Brian Stan, subbed him out.
Yeah, that was Brian's last fight, right?
I think so, in 2011. Took Bisping to a decision, won that. Lost to Silva in the rematch where he was outclassed just completely.
Hands down.
That's where it really started to happen. And then fighting Jones, and John Jones just beating the fuck out of him.
Sure.
Subbed out Shogun, and then lost to Rashad before bailing due to drug use and the like.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, you make the argument probably that even as these two guys are actually pretty close in age. I think Tito's like 41. Chael's like 39.
Sure.
It seems like Tito's been around forever. I mean, it really does. And it feels like Chael's been around 10 years maybe. But they're very close in age. I think when it comes to skill, though, and I don't know. I haven't been keeping track of Tito and Bellator really too much. I don't know.
He had
I would have to assume, really, though, is that for putting your money where your mouth is, Tito's the guy at Bellator 170. But if Chael can get in his head,
which he has,
it may very well be a very different contest.
It's if I don't really like picking Bellator fights because I think they're all there's a little bit of sham to all of it. I mean, I'm sorry, and I guess I'm not outrightly accusing Bellator of doing anything shady.
Donna 2000 and Kimbo Slice fight alone,
which nearly killed both men. Killed one of them.
It did kill one.
Killed one. The other one fucking I think legally died twice.
Ken Shamrock against Kimbo Slice. I mean, it looks like the fix is in on every big name fight from everybody that retired from the UFC 15 years ago.
So you look at Tito's last 6 fights, we'll even say, after he tapped out Bader. Lost to Rashad, TKO. Lost to Nogueira, TKO. Lost a decision to Griffin. Bounced back in Bellator against Alexander Shlemenko. Subbed him. Got that really cheesy, weird split decision with Bonner.
Right.
And they had their little grudge match.
Yeah.
And then they let him fight for the title against that Liam McGeary that ended up losing to Phil Davis. And, of course, he got subbed out in the first round. And now we're going to see him fight. And that was in September of 2015. That was a while back.
Man, I don't know. The fights, it just sounds dirty on the surface.
Yeah, just even with it being a potentially like a retirement fight. It sounds.
It is a retirement fight. Ortiz is announced.
Well, I say potentially because
he'll be back. Yeah, but
he'll be fighting something.
I don't know. It's going to be Ortiz by, I don't know, some kind of weird submission or some, I don't know. I would love to think it's on the up and up, but I don't know. I frankly don't.
I think it's also the presentation that gives me pause as well. It's very, very pro wrestling. I hate to say it. It's like Pride. I'll say it's more like Pride than pro wrestling.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, because when they had that broad come out from Pride,
sure,
to announce the fight.
I think it kind of really set the stage.
Yeah, it was okay like the first time. If she just announced one fighter and then went to the back and had a soda and chilled out for the rest of the card, been all right. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. No. None of it felt right.
Felt like the Yakuza is calling the shots behind the scene. All right, we're out of time. Before we go ahead and wrap up for this Friday, NFL this weekend. We got, let's go ahead and get some picks out of Brandon on this. Got the Green Bay Packers going down to the Deep South to play the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons. Who you got?
I appreciate what the Packers have done to the Cowboys. I watched the Jared Cook reception at the end of the game and pleasured myself on the reg for the past week. It's been beautiful. But I'm not a Packers fan at all. I'm a 49er fan, so I fucking hate the Packers. They've robbed us. Brett Favre has robbed the 49ers of a lot of very important things. When he was a Packer and when he was a Viking. I'm thinking Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. And Devon Freeman. Those are 3 dudes that are pretty much unstoppable when they're playing together out on the field.
I'll take the Green Bay Packers and the quarterback that always looks like he just woke up from a nap, and Aaron Rodgers. Well, and then you got Steelers Patriots over on the AFC side.
By the way, I got Falcons by. I'm gonna say Falcons by 10.
I'll take Green Bay by. Shit, I don't care if it's like a
if
field goal.
If I was betting, I'd give a full 10 points, and they'd probably take it too, but I'd still win.
Patriots Steelers. What you got?
I predict that Hulk Hogan will do a run-in during the football game and leg drop everyone on all sides of the team, and it will be a draw, and we'll just fucking skip it and get to next year because the last thing I want is Patriots or the Steelers going to the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The AFC Championship game, there used to be surprises there. Peyton Manning beating the Patriots and going on to winning the Super Bowl, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
That was cool, but it wasn't shocking. It really wasn't.
Right.
I want to see, I would love to see the Raiders, even though I'm not a Raiders fan either. It'd been really cool to see them go all the way and go to the Super Bowl and probably get beat by whoever's on the NFC side. But if I had to pick, I don't know. You're not the same way with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Devon Freeman. You got Big Ben, you got Antonio Brown, and you got probably the best running back in the league right now, in Le'Veon Bell.
And the backup is he's healthy too.
Yeah.
Some of the Steeler fans pointing that out to me. What Bell was that his last name?
No, yeah, Le'Veon Bell. He's basically been putting the Steelers on his back.
Those guys are all healthy. So I like the Steelers in that game, probably by a field goal.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really close scoring game. I don't know if the Patriots have Gronk. They don't have Gronk.
No, he's out.
Yeah. So that hadn't really stopped them from dominating people, but I think the Packers just
looked terrible against a bad team last week in the Texans.
And they were playing in Boston, so that's the other thing. I think that's going to have a lot to do with it too. But I think Steelers by 3.
All right, so we'll see what happens. We only disagree on the NFC.
I mean, I don't really give a shit because football's stupid.
All right. Hey, next week we get all fired up and talk about the UFC Fight Night in Denver, and then we're going to start talking a little bit about the upcoming pay-per-views. There's a lot to get excited about in the UFC. We'll also have more Mead updates, and we'll try to do a little better on the metal updates as well. I think that's about all I've got for this week.
That's all I have for this week.
Spent my load.
I'm so sleepy.
All right, you sons of bitches. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you savages next week.
Enjoy Bellator.